There's a current fad and fascination of teaching golfers how to just open up their body in the downswing to turn. But unfortunately, that trend doesn't fully tackle the reality of what needs to happen in a good golf swing. Sure, there's turn in the downswing, but there's also some sway and some slide. Most golfers I see on a day-to-day basis, whether that's in person or online, lack enough weight shift in the downswing, particularly with the driver. So today we're going to tackle that exact problem, help you to shift your weight correctly in the downswing and start hitting the ball better than you ever have before. When it comes to the discussion about weight shift in the downswing, I'm specifically talking about the pelvis, what the lower body is doing. So today's video is going to tackle that. And if you think about this pelvis and how it can really move in a rotational fashion, or it could tilt and sway side to side this way. So I can rotate and spin my pelvis, or I can sway or slide my pelvis. And in a good golf swing, there's undoubtedly a blend of both of those things. But for the masses, I'm seeing far too many people trying to just get open in their downswing, trying to twist their hips and turn their body in such a way that creates a very ineffective and inefficient club path. Golfers swinging across the ball start to slice and lose their distance. For the drill today, you're going to require a water bottle. A simple water bottle will suffice. I cannot confirm or deny the fact that using a Stack and Tilt Camp branded water bottle makes this drill any better or easier to do, but that's what I'm going to be using today. Take your water bottle, place it on the ground just outside of your trail foot in this fashion, like so. And the water bottle is going to act as some feedback. It's really placed as an obstacle there for me to avoid in my downswing. Let me start to be a little bit more specific. The movement of the pelvis, as we've started to talk about, can either be this rotational fashion or this slide. If you do this correctly, you will move your lower body forward, your pelvis will slide towards the target, and will train this trail foot to start to bank, for the ankle to roll inwards, and for the trail leg to stay much straighter. This is a position you'll see a lot of great players getting into, where the trail foot's rolling or banking inwards and the trail leg is staying nice and long, nice and straight. As they continue to follow through, the turning component starts to kick in, but all the time the heel of the golfer stays closer to the ground than in a more conventional twisted follow through. The other thing to consider here is the movement of the trail knee. The twisting, the bending of the knee twists and bends the pelvis and moves the heel out and away from the golfer. That type of rotational movement, which we're trying to avoid, as you can see, would knock the water bottle over. So the training here would be to try to make swings where you leave the water bottle upright. I really want you to understand the reason why the right leg needs to work in this fashion, the right foot banking and the right leg staying extended. What that does is it creates a lever here, or a limb, that's the longest. The distance between my toe and my hip here is as long as it can be, and that allows me to keep moving my pelvis forwards. If I was to start bending my knee, this is a common problem, the excessive bending of the knee in the downswing leads to some of you early extending, which I know is a problem out there for a lot of golfers. This right leg popping out and the right foot twisting, that's going to shorten this limb. That's going to create a shorter distance between my trail hip and my ankle. What that's going to do to my pelvis, if you watch, the difference between the longest, straightest right leg to the most bent, flexed right leg. What happened to my pelvis? What happened to the location of the center of my pelvis? My weight moved backwards. That's the definition of the reverse pivot. That's moving the weight in reverse. It's going the wrong way. So in order to be able to keep moving your weight forward, training this right foot, right leg action is absolutely critical. So I'd start out just indoors. Stand up and try doing this wherever you are right now. Just put your hands on your belt. If you've got a stick here, you can mimic what I'm doing. Try to move the stick towards the target laterally. That's swaying my belt buckle towards the target. Allow your trail foot to roll inwards. One key piece here that I haven't mentioned yet is that your feet need to be turned out. It's very important that you flare your feet outwards. That will help with this movement. Pelvis forward, trail foot rolling and banking inwards, keeping the right leg nice and long and extended. Take that to as far as you physically can, and then we can just begin to introduce that rotational piece that's going to happen in all good swings as well. But the exercise here is training you to get the pelvis far enough forward. You have to move your hips forward with all clubs. You have to move it forwards the most with the driver. So this is particularly relevant if you struggle with the driver. We talked about that in a recent video regarding the ball position and where that is relative to your lead shoulder. Moving the hips forwards like this helps to keep the lead shoulder in the correct position throughout the downswing. So there's a real key message here. It's extremely important that you learn to do this correctly. The other great part of this exercise is that as you do the lower body movement correctly and the hips forward, it moves you into this side tilt, this right tilt that you need as a right-handed golfer to complete the swing, as opposed to golfers who spin the foot out, turn the hips too level, and end up with their upper body also too level. That's them coming up and away from the ground. You'll see that movement in the poorest players. Beginner golfers typically look like that. They don't know how to transition into that right tilt into the follow through. So there's a number of great benefits to this exercise. Start out without a club, and then we can progress to hitting balls with this. So you've done your practice swings, you've got a sense of what we're trying to do here. Now we're going to start hitting some balls. I've got the driver, as I've already said. The driver, you need the hips to be the most forward at impact. The weight transfers more with the driver than with any other club. So I'm going to start out with some small ones, being mindful of the water bottle and really trying to keep it upright while moving my leg inwards, moving my ankle and my heel towards the target. That felt really good. That's just a little chippy one out there. Small swing, trying to put all my focus on the trail leg, keeping it as straight as possible and feeling like my heel almost stays down on the ground. You'll notice I'm able to maintain my tilts to the ground. That's super important into the follow through, being able to keep my inclination to the ground somewhat stable. It's the hip sway that's allowing me to do that. It's the movement of the trail leg that's facilitating this larger hip sway. If any of you struggle with weight transfer in the downswing, this exercise is surely going to help you. And there's a nice modification you can make to this drill should you prefer to try and knock the water bottle over. Instead of placing it on the outside of my foot, you can set up with the water bottle just on the inside of the foot. So now, as I'm transferring into the downswing, moving my ankle and my heel, I'm trying to knock this over. That for some of you might be a better feel. It might provide more feedback with the exact movement of how that leg and ankle need to work. So if you want to try it with the water bottle both outside and inside the foot and see which one produces the best results for you. Don't forget to turn your feet out, super important. It helps with this movement and the banking of the trail leg or the trail foot. Another great feel as you come through is to keep the ankle closer to the target than the toe. Let me show you what that would look like. There's the water bottle being knocked over and my ankle is still closer to the target than my toe. The opposite of that would be the ankle being further away from the target than my toe. And this movement, this twisting of the foot, as I've referred to already, really pulls my pelvis and my weight back. And yet so many of you think that that's what you're supposed to do with this trail leg. The spinning of the foot, almost like stubbing out a cigarette butt. The twisting of the trail foot is a movement that many of you have in your swing, but it's actually causing you lots of problems, like swinging over the top. So understand that the right leg, the trail leg, doesn't need to move as much as you probably think that it does. This will probably feel like your right leg, your trail leg, is less active than it normally is, but that's a good thing. That will allow the club and the arms to come down the slot, hit the ball on the right path, and transfer the energy fully into the golf ball. Thought I'd finish with a full one there, just to show you that you can work this up to full speed and still retain that trail leg mechanics, which has helped me there to hit lovely high push draw straight down the middle. So This works for all clubs. I demonstrated it today with the driver because you need to move the hips the most forward with the driver, but this works with all of your clubs. Get out there, give this a try. Start to recognize that your trail foot work matters. How you move that trail foot and that trail leg will strongly influence the rest of the swing. The water bottle drill is really simple. You can place it inside or outside of your foot. Go ahead, give that a try. I think you'll find it's helpful. So how you transfer your weight in the downswing really does matter for all clubs, especially the driver, and how your legs and feet work play a huge role in that weight shift. I don't think there's a huge amount of discussion around the leg work and the footwork right now, yet you'll see great players demonstrating this type of footwork everywhere you look in order to help them shift their weight correctly and transfer into that right tilt in the follow through, which truly is a great measure of a good golfer. So hopefully the video helped you and the drill's simple enough that you can get out there and give it a go today or tomorrow or the next time you're at the range. If you enjoyed the video, guys, I'd love you to hit the like button. It really helps the video to get seen by more people. And if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. Anyone interested in taking online lessons with me can check the link down in the description to my Skillist profile. I conduct online lessons every day with people all over the world. You can see in my Skillist profile the different options available to you. I'd love to help you with your golf one-to-one, so if that's something that interests you, go and click on the Skillist profile. I look forward to seeing you there. The trail leg and trail foot action that I described in today's video is somewhat similar to one of my favorite drills, the bowler drill. If you haven't seen this video, I'd encourage you to click on this one next. It helps to fix a whole host of issues such as early extension, poor club path, and inconsistent contact. If you haven't seen this one yet, I'd highly encourage you to check it out right now.